The rain is pouring down at Brands Hatch, but it's the start of the 2012 season with ThundersportGB. And in these TV shows for this season, exclusive to Motors TV, we'll be bringing you all the action from the Street Fighters and the Thundersport 500s. Welcome to Thundersport Naked. Naked, we're at Brands Hatch where it's still raining and it's time for the HEL Performance Street Fighters. Before we show you a great race from race 2, we better bring you a roundup of race 1 first. And away from the line, it was that man again. Yes, your eyes don't deceive you. Adam Palfreman is out in 2 or 3 classes this year, and the number 64 rider managed to get himself the whole shot in race 1 ahead of Tony Hughes, a name you may remember from last season in the Street Fighters. The Street Fighter limits, of course, A, B and C, all separated by engine size. 130 brake horsepower limit on the A class, 95 brake horsepower limit in the Bs, and 75 brake horsepower limit in the Cs. And it was not too long before Adam Palfreman managed to gap the rest of the field. And one of the main reasons for that was because Tony Hughes here in second position, number 35, you just see the start of it there. Fortunately, high-siding into clearways, and that was the end of his race. That led to Adam Palfreman being able to break away from the pack, and his lead just extended over the rest of the field. In second position, though, well, to begin with, in the early stages, it was Tim Daisley, number 22, until he eventually went missing himself. 115 in third was Keith Warren, and he's followed by Brad Davey, these tricky conditions suiting the Supermoto style machines. There is Daisley, followed by Keith Warren and Brad Davey. No Ian Popplewell out today, a rider that took a win yesterday in the B class, unfortunately suffering with back problems this morning in warm-up, so he wasn't out this afternoon to play. We'll look forward to seeing Poppy out at Donington. There's Mick Everett, followed by Street Fighter A leader Sean Goldsmith. Number 15 is Rob Chisholm out there on the Kawasaki 600, also an A class runner. But nobody was keeping up with Adam Palfreman out front. And just like in the first race from the Thundersport 500s we saw a little earlier on, he went off and couldn't be caught, his lead going up to some 20 seconds. In second position, though, Keith Warren out on the KTM. Well, this would be his best finish if he could keep it where it was. And there's the beautifully turned out Triumph 675 of Gary Coombs, number 6. But in the end, just under 21 seconds was the victory for Adam Palfreman on the Suzuki 650. He wins overall and takes the B-class victory. Keith Warren took a career best finish in second overall to win the Cs. And in third position, Sean Goldsmith won the A-class, finishing third overall, ahead of Steve Bradbury, last year's runner-up, Gary Coombs in fifth, and Mick Everett in 6th place. There's the Street Fighter A winners. That's Sean Goldsmith, Steve Bradbury and Gary Coombs. Street Fighter B podium, that's Adam Palfreman, Nick Wright and Tim Metcalf. And in the Cs, Keith Warren's first ever win ahead of Mick Everett and Brad Davey. Time for race 2, and can Adam Palfreman take yet another victory here at Brands Hatch? The HEL Streetfighters race 2 coming up. There's Tony Hughes, the current Street Fighter C champion. Always a big smile on the face of Mr. Punch. An even bigger smile to be seen on this man, Sean Goldsmith. The biggest smile in the paddock. And in fact, there's Adam Palfreman, race 1 winner. And we're ready to go racing. Of course, that gap on pole position missing because of Ian Popplewell's injury this morning. And it's a good start off the line on the MV Augusta for number 52, Sean Goldsmith. He fires away from the line to take the whole shot. Adam Palfreman on the orange and white Suzuki 650 in the B class looks as though he's going to take second position, but no, he's managed to get some excellent drive out of turn 1, and he leads into Druids ahead of Goldsmith. Looks like Tony Hughes up there in third position. Number 39 there, that's Al Brown, dad of Russell Brown, who races in the Aprilia RRV 450s. It's Palfreman that leads then from Goldsmith and Tony Hughes. Tim Daisley there just sneaked up into 4th position as they go around Graham Hill. There's Al Brown once more with the rookie orange vest. He's a novice for the year. And as they make the way into Surtees, Palfreman looks as though he wants to get himself another 20-second gap over the rest of the field. Looking very good indeed. Rider that takes part in probably some 8 or so races per weekend. So a tired rider is Adam Palfreman. By the end of this, and we've got a pile up there. Number 79, Tim Metcalf went down, and that looks like Nick, in fact, we've got 3 bikes down. Nick Wright and Steve Bradbury so unlucky to be taken out himself there, and all 3 riders are up, which is good to see. A little bit of a wobble there from Steve Bradbury. He knew very little about that. Such a shame, but nice to see them all up. It is still Adam Palfreman that leads this one. That's Brad Davey there, a rider that finished 2nd overall in last year's C class. And I don't think anyone's looking like they're even close to catching Adam Palfreman at the moment. Tim Daisley is in a Street Fighter C Supermoto sandwich there. And as Palfreman makes his way into Surtees, Sean Goldsmith there, the leader of the A class, looking to close that gap. And Keith Warren, fresh from that first ever Street Fighter C win, is looking to do the same again ahead of the current champion Tony Hughes. Tim Daisley there, number 22, with the rookie vest on, just ahead of Brad Davey. No sign of Tony Hughes' son this year so far, Mark Hughes, a very capable rider. It'd be nice if he'll pop out for 1 or 2 rounds. And Tony Hughes there, number 35, just looking like he wants to line up a move on the C-class leader, Keith Warren, as leader Adam Palfreman makes his way into Druids once more. There's Sean Goldsmith, the 2010 Street Fighter C champion, who's out there on his road bike, and he's got company, and that's not the first time that these two have had a scuffle out on circuit. Tony Hughes making easy work of Sean Goldsmith into Graham Hill. He's trying to keep with Keith Warren, so Goldsmith has gone from 2nd to 4th in just a couple of corners. He's going to use the power of that MV Augusta, though, to try and have a look up the inside on the Cooper Straight. Doesn't really work out. So it's Palfreman that leads, Keith Warren in 2nd, Hughes there in 3rd. The Supermotos are pretty nimble around Brands Hatch, plenty of grunts, so they're pushing on rather well. Team Daisley there just falling into the clutches of Brad Davey, and that gap at the front that was around about 7 or 8 seconds has certainly come down a little. Keith Warren has closed that down, and Tony Hughes there in 3rd position. Well, he has won a Street Fighter race outright before on his C machine, so don't be surprised to see him climbing all the way to the front, although he's got a lot of work to do here. It's not looking like it's going to happen this time around. There's Tim Daisley in 5th position, just ahead of Brad Davey. A little bit further down, Gary Coombs is 3rd overall in the A class. Gary Paul is out there, number 177 in 8th position. Brent Millage in 9th, ahead of Andy Driver and Al Brown. There's Keith Warren now, coming under a bit of pressure from the current champion, Tony Hughes. Mr. Punch is closing in 3rd position. That's where he fell in race 1, so well, you can see there he's just a little more careful on the throttle. Another lap goes by, and Palfreman's lead has diminished considerably. Keith Warren in 2nd position has eyes only for the leader, Adam Palfreman. But Tony Hughes is the quickest of all 3, as we look at the timing screens. That lap around is the fastest lap of the race, in fact, from Tony Hughes, a 1:01.09. So, and that, well, Palfreman was out on his own at one point. Not anymore. It's a six-wheel battle for the win. There's Daisley still in 5th position, just holding off Brad Davey, you feel. And here come the race leaders now, and Adam Palfreman's got company in the form of Keith Warren and Tony Hughes. And as we come to the closing stages, this might not be quite as easy as it looked for Adam Palfreman. He's home and dry as far as the B class is concerned, but for outright victory, of course, you can score points in the Street Fighter Extreme. They're coming to the line now, and it's last lap flag, and Tony Hughes has made a move on Keith Warren and goes past Adam Palfreman also. So Adam Palfreman has had a bit of a warning there, shot at him, and as they make their way down and up towards Druids, the more powerful machine of Adam Palfreman, he'll try and use that on the Cooper Straight, no doubt. Through Druids they go, and any one of these three riders could win this race outright. The Street Fighter Extreme, 25 points up for grabs. It's Hughes from Palfreman and Keith Warren. And we've got a bit of a last lap dash now, and this is really the only chance that Palfreman has got on the Cooper Straight, and he's got a lot of speed now going into Surtees, but Hughes has the advantage still. Can he hold off and take the win? It would be a remarkable victory if he can do that on a machine that's capped out at 75 brake horsepower, and he's got some good drive, but the power of that Street Fighter B machine might just outdo him on the straight. It's going to be a run to the line. Who's going to win it? It looks like it's going to be Hughes. It is Tony Hughes, Mr. Punch, takes Street Fighter win in the Extreme class and the C class. He beats Adam Palfreman to the line, who wins in the B category. Keith Warren takes 3rd overall and is 2nd in the C class. And Tony Hughes puts his hand out to congratulate Adam Palfreman there, and then has a high five with Keith Warren. 4th place across the line was Sean Goldsmith, who takes the A class victory, and in 5th position it's Tim Daisley on the Triumph, ahead of Brad Davey, who is 3rd overall in the C class. There's Sean Goldsmith, the A winner, ahead of Tim Daisley and Gary Coombs. In the Bs, it's Adam Palfreman and Al Brown. And C-class winner and overall winner, Tony Hughes there with Keith Warren and Brad Davey.
Tony Hughes, Mr. Punch, what a fantastic race you put on there.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I mean, I enjoyed all yesterday. Was great for me yesterday. The battling in this year has been absolutely, it's been fantastic, and it's only the first round. But I bend it in the first one, which was I'm just not used to doing in the wet. I usually do it in the dry, but you know, I've just had to pick myself up, and I had to go out and do it and actually try and win, because I'd have just lost it otherwise.
Who'd you like to thank, mate?
Oh, I'd just like to thank Sparklight Racing. I'd like to thank Race Engineering for getting this bike together, and for getting all my bike all stickered up, and it looks really well, goes really well. And I'd just like to thank Susan as well for letting me come on my own, and because she wasn't that happy about missing it. So say hello to her.
Tony Hughes, very well done.
Thank you.
Well, that's it then from Brands Hatch. Up next will be Donington for the Thundersport Nakeds. I've been Steve Day. See you again in a few weeks.